What? Okay. Okay. Sorry for the delay and then the delay on the delay. Anyways, hey, it's Poisson Variants, your VTuber Method Gamer and Nonsense Enjoyer. How is everybody doing this fine sunny day? Why do you keep telling me to go to sleep? I feel like you're trying to create a bit. You're trying to make clippable content. You're trying to get into another short. That's what it is, Posh. To be fair, you sound really tired right now. Do I? On what? On what merits? Yeah, I can see it. I did not sleep well last night. To give you a frame of reference of how well I slept last night, I was editing until 1 a.m. and then I was like, okay, I'll go to bed, and then I decided to try and go to bed, and then I couldn't fall asleep, and then I got up at 4 without sleeping at all, and then I went ahead and finished the video at 5:51 a.m., which is why it went live at 6 a.m. And then right after it went live, I decided to lie back down, and then I slept until 11, so a strange series of sleepness. Sleptical illusions, confusions, contusions, and so forth. But I figured I could still. I was considering moving this or just like canceling this one, but I was like, nah. Car? No car. I haven't left my house today, so no car. Oh, I did confirm something though. Remember when I had my intuition was correct. Remember when I had said, oh, I'm pretty sure that it dropped from 7 siblings to 6. I was correct. I was correct. So it's funny you also haven't left my house today. Exactly, you guys still exist in my walls and computer. That's what matters. Ooh, you're going on a picnic soon, Jen? Going on a picnic? That sounds fun. Sibling counting is a skill you can learn with practice and experience. Confirmed. It's true. It's true. It's not something anyone can do. I had to grind for this skill. Ooh, you're going to D&D soon. Hope you have fun. I am a big fan of Dungeon and Dragon, as the scholars called it. You would have had D&D at this time, but you're on break this week. Ooh. Yay! Yeah, no, normally our D&D is every other week. I have D&D every other week, and it's, what's the word? on Saturday evenings, so that's why I don't really stream on Saturdays. Because it's also not for sure every other week. It's variable. It kind of just happens when it happens based off when people are available. Because one of our members has a tendency to call out, but not like last second. Be like, oh yeah, it turns out my entire family's coming over for dinner. My extended family. Like, he has a wife and 2 kids, but like, it's a tendency to last second call out. I'm just like, so it is variable. Oh goodness. Am I sure I counted the number of kids correctly? Well, I've never. No, that's not true. I have seen them. They've shown up when we're playing D&D. Because we'll generally play with webcams on, and so his kids have walked into the room. So I know for sure there's 2. As for how many siblings he has, I have no idea. There's no way I'd be able to accurately count that. Oh. Could be a Pascal triangle American. Oh my god. Where it's like, how would that even work? Is it just like the parents are always the ones on the outside? And then just like every time you try to count the kids, it's the amount on the in the middle, the interior of the triangle. Is that how a Pascal triangle number of kids would work? I don't know. I'm sure there's some way to mathematically. You have a number of kids such that if you double their heights, you gain 3 more volume of child. New posted video is very interesting. Thank you, Wrench. I saw you commented the same thing on it. Yes, interesting. You ask 3 people, you say 1, and 1 says 3, etc. Oh my god, that's a really funny way to determine the Pascal triangle number of kids based off surveys. Doing a survey to determine how many children someone has. You're surveying other people to determine how many children somebody has. That's crazy. Oh no. I wonder. Huh. You watched some Bugcat today? Good. Good, I'm proud of you. Bugcat's very adorable. It's worth getting hooked on. You try to stay consistent. You definitely live up to it. You definitely stay consistent, Wrench. And no, I don't have any kids. But I don't want any kids either. I would not be able to. I think I made my coworkers uncomfortable the other day because I was talking about I was like really out of it, and I was like, man, if they were talking about like changing jobs, where someone was suggesting like becoming an air traffic controller, and I was like, I should not be given that level of power, because I would undoubtedly be like, well, if 2 planes are approaching each other at, you know, this speed, leaving from this airport, what if we just point them at each other? And then, bye Posh, have fun at D&D. And then I was like, yeah, that's the same reason I can't have kids, because if I had kids, I would get too curious with doing dangerous things. Like, what if I teach them language structure incorrectly? What if I teach them colors and numbers wrong? Just for the heck of it. And I think I made my coworkers a bit uncomfortable, because I was just like, what if I have a child just to ruin its life for the sake of the experimentation? My coworkers, most of my, or not most, the coworkers in the room actually, which ones that I was on shift with had, no, only one of them had kids. Actually, a bunch of my coworkers are older, but almost none of them have kids. Or do they? Wait, hold on. He have kids? He has a daughter. She has 3 kids. I don't remember. But not my problem, because I don't hang out with them outside of work. Hey, Kikado. Typical acoustic and neurotypical interaction, TBH. True. I mean, listen, that's just what I think about. You're not allowed to make jokes with a resting angry face without everyone thinking you are unironically thinking about it. That's true. And I do kind of have passively that face, especially when I'm tired. Especially when I'm tired. What are we studying today? My thing was, I was just gonna like work on like my numerical analysis stuff. I can talk my numerical analysis, and just kind of sit and hang out. I wasn't planning on chatting a whole lot or like being as vocal. I'm planning on toning it down while I'm working, just as like a hangout sort of thing. I should yap while working on job applications. That's a fun idea. I kind of want to convert to a sitting desk. Yeah. Let's switch over to a sitting desk from a standing desk. Oh. The first time in forever. Sitting desk. That's true. I could just, that's actually not a bad idea, is to try and send out some applications while just reading chat, essentially. Talking about whatever. And then I'll shift over to what's the word? Just kind of like MATLAB or Octave numerical stuff. Just always review. Maybe at some point do some more genomics. You know, funny enough, I've never been crazy proficient in Excel. I should just learn how to do it just cause I like know more advanced. I know like R. Anyway, SQL. Messages is gonna be so random. You lost your name. If you ever do a face reveal, which you won't, but if you do, but hypothetically, even if it won't happen, you should make it one frame in the middle of a stream and never acknowledge. That is the kind of level of face reveal I would do. No. Yes. I would absolutely do it where it just like pops up and then never acknowledge it. You really heard marriage study? No. You won't work. You always watch streams at 0.001 speed. Oh, that's good because I have a tendency to kind of, you know, fly off the rails, talk really fast. There are pro Excel tournaments. Ooh. That's cool. Yeah. Is it kind of like those like hackathons? There's a world championship. That's great. Really funny for there to be a championship. Like like you defend it like a WWE title. That would be really funny. Actually, I'll say yes, yes, no. Making my face your profile picture and then claim stolen identity. I like that. That's a crazy Chad move. Crazy Chad move to weird. Maintaining patient confidentiality. There's no way I can do that. It's one of the categories of rating how well the small business owners take the fact that they are bankrupt. Yeah, you just be like, I think that's what I think it is. Google a word. Alright, that's just privacy. Not. My life is over, but the budget looked phenomenal. That's financial analysis right there. You just go ahead and talk about how much money they're losing on a daily basis. And then you're like, it's fine, I have a degree in this. They're like, well, can you tell me how to fix it? And I was like, whoa there, buddy. My degree's not in business. My degree is just to tell you that you're losing money. Yeah. I never want to... I took 2 econs courses, and I never really want to take any other again. Similar. Key to success is 3 H's: happiness, health, and hemorrhaging. You spelled hemorrhaging wrong. Spelled poison wrong because my name's not Poison. People, I remember during Crab Game, I think it was Cheese, kept calling me Poison. Words are literally made up, so you don't need to justify it. That's true. That's true. Words are made up, so you can do whatever you want. But by that logic, numbers are made up, so I shouldn't even have a degree. I shouldn't even have a degree. What year was it? 2025. 5. Is it bad that you generally don't know if you were bullied in school if you didn't notice being bullied in school? I think that's fine, because it means that you weren't putting significant amount of weight on what people were like, how do I say this, like trying to get out of you. Like you weren't letting yourself be significantly judged by others, so that's good. I say that's good. That's just me. Like, I don't know if I'm like, I was never really involved in many social things. So I don't think I was ever bullied. Or if I was, I just don't know either. I just realized, yeah, shape-shifting vowel. No sounding copies the vowel before itself. Very curious what the point of it is. Does it somehow change the pronunciation? Well, if it copies the vowel, like, so it's meant to be like you're meant to do that vowel sound twice, essentially. It's not like it's not like oh, you can, not like when you double up on something, like oh would be ooh in English, but in the case where it's like you would want to not do oh and then be like I don't know. Did you ask your advice to diminish my input? Oh, I don't know. What? Did you? I'm 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 just vibing. I'm just vibing. Oh, cool, that exists. I'm just vibing. Ugh. I don't know. Is this how bullying looked? Sorry for insulting. Bye, Jen. Have fun at the picnic. The sex ed fun. I know. Yeah, people need to actually function. Apparently it's not taught very well in these United States, as it were. I was told today that I can't hit a pumpkin with a crowbar, and I'm sad. You've been told that you apologize too much? I once had to get on my friend just over and over because they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop apologizing. Like, you need to stop apologizing for everything. Where ask continue to get. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's the basic concepts. That's the basic concepts. I once had to get on my Jesus. You know what I meant. Phrasing. Fine phrasing. There's the actual function, and I want... to be x minus what am I doing? Called method. There we go. And I need to take in. You know what you meant, but it was funny to cut it off. That's called clip farming. You just manipulate the information until it is comedy. That's what it's all about. Just take things out of context and then be like, I can't believe that so-and-so said what? Can't believe that this person said this crazy thing. In X. Excuse me. I can use f1y equals x minus f1x. Seriously? I'll do that? Crazy. VTuber clip thumbnails are the worst, and you always fall for them. You are part of the problem. There's some view where the context actually does make it much better. I think more than anything, it's like in context, generally those things make sense. That's part of it. I don't even know about making it funnier, but it's like it makes more sense in context. So like intentionally removing context for the sake of the clip. I don't know. I don't think I've done that. I don't think I'm guilty of that. I'd like to think I'm bad at thinking. Is that right? Oops. Method y equals x minus f of x squared all over f of x plus f of x. Okay. What am I doing right now? Right now I'm just trying to get it to run an example of the secant method, which is another way of finding zeros, where like previously we had done the bisection method, where it essentially splits up things over and over. The secant method uses the secant line of a function. So look at my mouse and imagine, so you have a function like that. You have a point up here, you have a point down here, the secant line will be here. Because like the tangent line would be over here, the secant line would be over here. The secant line, I'm sure you know what a secant line is, I'm playing. But basically the idea is that you're scooting the secant lines, making the secant lines kind of smaller and smaller. It's kind of like taking the derivative, and you can even see if you look at the format, it's similar to, it's kind of like an inverse of how a derivative, the limit definition of a derivative. It's using that same logic where it's like h in this case is your f of x, and so you're kind of working in reverse from there, but using a squared, and then you're shifting along from your previous starting point in order to get closer and closer to a zero based off a secant line. You actually don't? Oh. Well, then you learned something, I guess. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I entered the wrong formula. This is Stephen Stephenson's algorithm. I want something that'll actually be computationally more efficient. Kind of? No. I need an x minus 1. Okay. Is he using zeros as secant lines to approximate zeros as a function through iteration? Yeah, exactly. That's correct. But I entered the wrong formula, funny enough. Because of that, I don't know how to do this. Is there a way to do this? So the problem with it is, if we look, so like let's compare it to the bisection algorithm. The bisection algorithm you just need a start and a stop point. In this, I have to generate two different... I have to have a start and a stop point. Oh no, it's similar. Okay. Alright. We just need an X0 and an X1. And we're good. Okay, yeah, I just do it correctly. I just have to start by calculating the, I just have to, in the same way that we had to calculate an initial C, we just have to calculate an initial f of x and then run from there. So I'm going to change this to an X1, or an X0, and 1, X0, that's going to be X0. Let's go ahead and... one... Oh, wait. Alright, those should both be X1s. This should be X1 minus, oops, X0 divided by f of X1 minus f of not. And all that. Drop another parenthesis here. Boom. Okay. So that should be our secant method. Still using the same logic, just correctly set up formula this time. So then let's go ahead and do the entirety of the secant method as an algorithm, which I guess we'll name just secant algorithm. Doesn't actually let me save it until there's content in it, which I guess makes sense. And doesn't actually need a thing because I'm just gonna have it print out. So it should algorithm alg. And what we need an X0. Really, that's it. We just need an X0. Or we need an X, and then we can work there. That'll be our X0. Okay. And function. Yes, I always do that. I always tab down several lines, and then... Okay. We're gonna use the same stopping. We're gonna use the same stopping of 10 to the negative fifth as our threshold, as we did previously, because I feel like that's a good stopping place. Let's see. I want to. Take in the function. Alright, so first let's calculate. An X1 is gonna equal actually I'm gonna have it be X0 just for the sake of clarity. F of X0. And then after that I want to call gonna be while, that's what it is, while absolute value of f1 of x1 is greater than or equal to 10 to the negative fifth. Then we can run this loop of so simple. Brain is freezing. Of secant method. Secant. Wait. Wait, no, this creates a problem. I have to have a starting x1, x1. That's what. Okay, never mind. Yeah, because then we're gonna shift. So we're gonna have new x1 determine. Because what I want to do is go ahead. You know, thinking about numerical analysis, why would you use different methods of approximation? Some of it comes down to computational. Some of it comes down to the function. It's based off of really the situation. Like, yeah. Some functions will be friendlier to something like a secant method. Some functions will be friendlier to something simple like bisection. It's in the same way of like, I think it really comes down to computation speed too. I need to write something. Do x0 and x1. So lets us find x2, which then lets us make that x. Okay, no. We just have to introduce a new variable temporarily. Okay, I don't need to do this. Here. I like when my life gets easier. The counter to the the hard-working American ideal. I like when I can make my life slightly easier, if nothing else. Okay. X2 is equal to secant method of x0 and x1. And then that's cool. If I save, it throws it back to the front of the line. Boop. 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 I need to make x0 is now equal to x1, and x1 is equal to x2. And then, because I've set it like that, then it'll go ahead and check that against the absolute value of the loop. And so if that is a solution, we can drop it. Then... I think that's just it. Is that just it? Do I just loop from there? I think that's it. I think there'd be a more efficient way of doing this, though, where I would save the previous f of x and then loop from there. Because the benefit is that whenever I'm calling it, I can... Well, that's what I'm doing, actually. I'm kind of doing. No, so the benefit would be this f of x naught I could save. But... guaranteed or return an approximation of the root. The thing we also actually have to account for, which I'm glad you pointed out, is if there is not a 0 in this root. So first, we need to actually test that. How would I test that? Oh, the same way as we did with the bisection. If f, or if sine of f1 x naught is equal to the sine of f1 of 1, technically not the most efficient way to, or the best way, because this could be flawed. Because we wouldn't know for sure, actually, so this doesn't work. We wouldn't know, because my idea was then we could just, you know, return. But, first I'd want to print... Right. But another thing we could run into, so the thing is, this also doesn't definitely work, because if we have something, well, yeah, because if I have something that kind of goes like that below the, like goes down below and then pops back up, but I choose at 2 peaks, then it's gonna assume they have the same sign, and so this won't actually work. So what I need to do is I need to set a limiter on, an error limiter on this. So I need to determine some sort of, no, what instead is, while this is true, or, I think that's or. Or the distance of the absolute value of x naught minus x1 minus x naught is greater than or equal to, what would be a I don't know what a reasonable, well, I guess that's the whole point of numerical analysis. You have to determine what a reasonable threshold would be. if you determine what a threshold would be. So I guess that would be a bit open to interpretation. I guess I wouldn't necessarily have to do it to the same level as the zeros, but I would want it to be within a threshold that I'm not going over. Like 10 to the negative third and consider that reasonable. Kind of arbitrarily chosen. That's all. That's the nice thing about Python. I'd be like, or, but in this if and MATLAB element wise 1 and the okay. All right, let's just double check this, and then we'll have to actually print at the end. We're actually going to delete that entirely. Be like, okay, so while we're within zeros, or the distance between those are greater than a small amount. Welcome back, Hikato. Then we find the secant method, switch stuff around, and then we go. And I guess I could print all my iterations too, just for a bit of consistency. Print. And and well, oh, you're always here? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Why does that second condition matter? The second condition, there's a chance also my brain isn't braining correctly. My thought process is if we have, let me open up an MS Paint. So my thought process is if we have so say we have a function like that. The sign thing would say But let's say we go from here. The sign thing would say that we can't, that because this is positive and this is positive, that there's no zero here. But that's not true. But we also have to take into account, like, what if we have a function like that, and we're like choosing points here and here, I can here and here, and then, well, there is no zero here. And so we have to run the iteration enough times, because if we run it enough times and we just never get to a zero, well, then it'll run forever. So we have to set a condition where it's like, okay, eventually if they're this close together, we can make an assumption that the function doesn't be like bramp, bramp, and like jump like that. But so it is kind of an assumption, but that's the thing about numerical, is that you're kind of assuming you're following some level of trends. Because if you're following, because if your function, you know, you zoom in a crazy amount and then suddenly the behavior changes, well, that's going to be difficult to predict anyways. And that's probably not going to be a function that's modeling something reasonably. No, and in order to account for stuff like that, you can also shift around your you can also shift around like your coordinate plane. You can that's the wrong one. You can shift around your coordinate system. You could shift around like change your axes that you're kind of working on. You can try some denoising to account for something like that could appear. You basically it stops you from running infinitely is the idea. So let's go ahead and print if this works. I'll do like n, and then I'll do. I'll just do 7 over here. F of x, and copy this whole thing so that the spacing remains consistent. But this x of n is gonna be x naught except I have to make how do I do this? Right. Percentage 0.4 f or f, and then I just do like a comment, which in this case is gonna be x naught that work? Hold on a minute. This is the thing I'm worried about. Because we've just changed what those are. No, yeah, because x naught is supposed to be x of n minus 1, so it worked. Okay, cool. Alright. And then... Alright. I don't even know if we need to return. Plain potion. Energy, 10,000 grams of pure caffeine, because you can't overthink it. Your heart stops. Brain implosion. Energy. Your thoughts want head empty. And drink until you drop. I love my brain implosion. Use it, make my head go. But will it stop the pain forever? I just be sure. Brain implosion. Energy 1,000 caffeine, cause you can't overthink it. Your heart stops. Syntax error near line 4. Algorithm. 4 x2 equals c z. As the Age of Empires 2 remake music, and I'm a big fan. The big project you're working on happen to be music? No, because I can't sing. But if I could sing, that would be it. Big fan. Thought I was a person. No. Everyone knows I'm not a person. Line 4. Okay, so hold on a minute. This where it's throwing an error. Idea. And character. Here, line 4, column 6. Right? Alright. Drop a sick EDM track. I don't know how to... This is the only well, I'm gonna... This is the closest thing I've ever done to a mix. Or not to a mix. Oh my god, that's loud. This was made during a lunch break at work. And just go back and forth like that. Anyways. Not half bad. Thank you. Yeah, I know. That's the closest I've ever done to trying to make music. Okay. Oh wait, there's documentation. What is EDM? It's better than some of the EDM you listen to. You must not have listened to some great EDM. Electronic dance music. Kikado. Ugh. Yeah. Did I calculate? Syntax error. Okay, let's do that real quick. Line 4, column 6. Down on yourself is pretty good. You made a lunch burger with food, but I appreciate that. I like to mess around with stuff. Like, I like to try everything. I'm a very much try things kind of person. But it is difficult to get good at things. If I ever did music stuff, it would be with the help of a friend who is a musician. But they're very busy, and so I don't want to bother them with that kind of stuff right now. We'll see. In the future, maybe, but no, the project's something else, and I will not say anything more on it. Actually, just see if I can... Excuse me, just run the seeking method. Okay, so that runs fine. So then what's the... method runs fine. The problem is just algorithm. This is a syntax error, but I don't know what that syntax error is. I'm defining a new variable here, but that's not a problem here. Find new variables all the time. not. Next one. Oh, it's I think it's because it doesn't think the secant method file exists for some reason. Right here. Function. More like syntax error. Oh, is there an issue because I'm inside of a function? But I should be able to call a function inside of a... Like, there shouldn't be a problem. What would you mean by, like, issue? My parentheses? Oh, I found it. I found it. I found it. There's an issue with my freaking parentheses. Of course it was. Print. F. Yeah, printf, that's why. Syntax error, cool. In F1. Oh, because there's no multiplication symbols. Whoops. 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 Defining a variable inside a function, though. But I'm not defining it inside, I'm defining it as always. Yeah. Real enemies are the parentheses. Who forgot along the way. There we go. Okay. What's the answer supposed to be? What's the answer supposed to be? Rough plot. Oh, wait, that's fine. And what was... What? What's... What? Uh-oh. X not supposed... No, X1... Well, those are correct. Determinations. Sine, a hyperbolic sine, that's fine. I bothered it. Okay, let's see where it's running into issue. So correct. No, that's wrong. Before I change things, hit implement F, all this white space. Okay, and let I want this to actually be one of X not anything this absolute value of that is greater than 10 to the fifth, or things are, you know, far enough away from each other. So it does end. What it should be ending at is... What should it be ending at? In fact, it's doing a completely different calculation than the one you suggest. So I have something going wrong somewhere. One. That's all correct. Apply it. So this will equal our x of n plus 1. Accidentally found an algorithm function equals that. Because the actual answer should be... Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Oh yeah, misunderstanding the algorithm. No. Wait. That should be correct, because we in our numbers. Our next x1. Our x2. Let's just eat how much of this. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Start to verge off of the... So I think I'm doing something wrong. Also finding that is a absolute value when it consider yourself grainy. Everyone looks right. Be laying down Wikipedia 20 minutes ago. Nah, hit me with it. Hit me with it. There's a good chance I'm making a mistake somewhere, and I'm just like. Chance with how it's doing that rounding. Oh, no, it's not rounding because that stays consistent. But I've made an error somewhere for sure. That's what it is. Yeah, I forgot a step. It's more than just that. I'm supposed to be kind of flip-flopping. That's what it is. I forgot the actual... A big part is the decision. Alright. The thing that went wrong is that it's supposed to choose. We're supposed to make a choice. And the choice... Um, that's dark but funny. So what's supposed to happen? Pause. Modify the standard secret method to slightly non-increase. A, if f of a greater than f of b, then a, and then they switch places. Oh. Oh. Why would I bother to do that? Why wouldn't I just do it with an absolute value? What they're suggesting is if f of a b you switch places where it's like a equals I do want to do like a 10 b a equals and b equals a equals a 0 a and also then have that f of so put that in terms of what we're rocking with. It's not. X1. X. Not 1. So that's how would we do that? I'm going to determine calculate a new S2, but wants me to call that at the start of every loop, essentially. This is what they're suggesting. So if the absolute value of x f1 not greater than f of x. Do I wear cologne? I do not wear cologne. I have plenty of creams and deodorants and stuff that I apply to myself. But any cologne is not my forte. Why do you ask? Why do you ask? The gimmick of streaming. Everything is an ask. Everything is just an ask Jeeves. Whoever Jeeves may be. To chase hunt. I find that colognes are generally too strong. I find that colognes are too strong, but that's probably not right. I don't know what their logic on that is. And part of me is getting hungry. But I don't know if I want to go. No, yeah. Different things like moisturizers, face creams. Those are all really good. Deodorant, you know, different scented body washes and things. And on top of that, when I'm like at work or like out and about, I tend to be chewing gum. Just anything to add to the ambient, a pleasant ambient scent that I'm presenting to the world. I say that, but I haven't showered today because out of it. But that's tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, that's tonight. Tonight. Yes. So, at some point we diverge. I want to run it one more time. Where does the divergence happen? Do I have multiple deodorants? No, I just use one. I just use one. It's an Old Spice deodorant that I really like. But why are my X's changing so drastically compared to what they have? The only thing I can... You're right. My thought could be this. Weird. What did they calculate for their first X2? I think that's... I need to make sure. Their first X2 is calculated by... Okay. So their first X2 is different than mine. Why? Oh! I'm so stupid. I figured it out. This whole time I was using F. I'm supposed to be using F sub 1. F is e to the x minus sine of x. So there are like aspects of it that are similar to hyperbolic sine. Nice. I have 416. So this did fewer iterations, and I think it's because I have this one. I knew it was something with the secant method. Yeah. Well, it wasn't something with the secant. Yeah, it was something with the secant method in the sense that it was the wrong. I was using the wrong function. Good call though. Good call. You're literally just guessing. Doesn't matter. Good call. So if I nix this, say, oh, I set that to be 10 to the -5th as well. Interesting. Oh, that's why. That's why. One, x2. Check it. So now. Well, that certainly looks like a 0. Well, that's within zeroths. Yeah, it's -0. -0, my favorite. Beautiful. What even? What even? So funny. I think just by default, probably not doing whatever level of complementation I want it to be doing, but it works, is the main takeaway. Half asleep troubleshooting. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Okay. I think that's a good sign for me to go get food. What did it even think F was? Yeah, it thought F was this. I have a different function under the same thing, also called F. So it thought F was e to the x minus sine of x. And exactly is fine. That's what it is. Yeah, hyperbolic sine is e to the x minus e to the negative x divided by 2. So essentially, it wanted to be using this. It was using this. This plus, you know, other polynomial stuff, but this. I accidentally cut. This. God, is this. You were tired before stream, but yeah. I know it's always fun to have people drunk text you. It's always awful, just awful. Not for myself, because I never remember the hyperbolic functions. I use the hyperbolic functions. Okay. Regardless, I think, yeah, that's probably a good place to call it. And just do a single algorithm. Whatever, I'm getting back into the flow of it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay. Well, I have been Poisson Variants, your VTuber Marathon Gamer and Nonsense Australia. I will see you all on Monday for some Final Fantasy XIV. Thank you all for watching, and bye-bye. I'm so tired.